Hello and welcome to another House of Wisdom video. Today we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be talking about storage system for our knives. Storing our knives is a little like life. Effective people start with the end in mind. And with our knives, just like life, we need a plan and a purpose. How large do you want your knife collection to be? Do you want it to be portable? Are you going to be transporting it or keeping it in a safe and have a need to transport it from the safe to another area where you can enjoy the knives? Or are these knives going to be stationary in your home and you just want them to be easy access at your disposal? Everyone starts with knives just having one knife. Maybe your father or your grandfather gave it to you. And as you move through life, you get a second knife and then a third. And you see other knives that you want to enjoy. And you wake up one day and your drawer is full of knives. And then you say, wow, I need another system. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I want to start at the most rudimentary level. Usually people keep them in a drawer or a bedside chest or something like that. I recommend that you place a rubberized liner in the drawer first of all. This prevents the knives from being scratched against the wood or sliding around and bumping into each other when you open and close the drawer. Every drawer is a little different. The drawer here holds around 20 knives lying horizontally comfortably. The dresser drawers or bedside chest drawers or desk drawers that you use may be a different size, but at some point you're going to outgrow them. Okay, so now we've gone to the drawer level where we've put a nice liner in it that's rubberized, and so the knives aren't going to get scratched and they aren't going to bump into each other and they're not going to slide around when you open and close the drawer quickly. But we want to take it to the next level. You have more than 20 knives. Well, you can dedicate more than one drawer to your knife collection. You can do this 3 drawers in your bedside chest and you can go up to 60 knives. But I'm going to take you to the 90 knife level. And how we're going to do that is with the Pelican 1500 case. The Pelican 1500 case costs about $110 depending on what supplier you get it at. But I'm going to show you first an intermediary solution. This, if you used in the configuration I'm going to show you, can hold about 90 knives. But you know what? You don't have to buy the whole Pelican case. You can just buy the liner. Let's go get the liner and we'll put it inside our drawer. Look how nicely that fits. The 1500. Fits like a glove. Now, I've taken this drawer, and it used to only hold 20 knives horizontally, but if you store them vertically, I can now hold 90 knives in this drawer. And I'm going to show you my bedside chest. So here's my bedside chest. I think it's kind of typical. It's a 3-drawer chest. So 3 times 90, you can do that math in your head, 270 knives if you just get these $27 foam liners and line your drawers with them. Okay, I'm just going to play some math here. Say you had 270 knives and you just got relatively inexpensive, on an average, $100 knife. That's $27,000 you're going to commit to your knife collection. And I don't know many guys, well, there are some guys that commit $27,000, but there are very few. And the normal YouTube viewer on my channel probably doesn't commit $27,000. Hey, if you do, I want to get to know you and send me some of your knives so I can review them. But that's one of the tricks. You don't have to necessarily buy the Pelican case. You can go the budget route and just buy the $27 pick and pluck foam liner at Amazon.com for only $27. So we're going to move next to the Pelican cases. Starting with the Pelican 1500 case, if you open the case, you'll find that there is a pick and pluck foam insert, and it has these 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch square long pieces of foam that you pluck out that you put your knives into. In the pick and pluck foam in the 1500 case, the dimensions of the foam is 30 of these 1/2 inch foams in width, 19 of the 1/2 inch foams in height, and if you take the foams out, there is about a 3 3/8 inch divot left into the foam, which is perfect for most knives. Most even small knives have at least a 4-inch handle, which leaves about a 1/2 inch sticking out so you can access them easily. I'm going to show you a method that with the 1500 case, we can map out a plan to store 90 knives. This will have 6 rows and 15 columns. It will accommodate 60 regular to small knives and 30 large knives. 6 of these 30 places will have a double wide space for extra large knives. Now that we've looked at the Pelican 1500, we're going to be moving to the larger 1550. And instead of being able to store 90 knives, which is a lot, we're going to be able to store 136 knives with the schematic I'm going to show you in the 1550. The width of the pick and pluck foam is 34 squares wide, and the height is going to be 25 high. Whenever you pull the foam out, it leaves a fossa of 4 3/4 inches, which means that some of the smaller knives aren't going to be able to stick out above the foam, and you'll have to put something in there to prop them up a little bit. I'll show you how to do that a little later on in the video. Well, back to our grid work. I recommend that all of you grid out what you need, and I'm dedicating, of the 8 rows you'll have, 6 of the rows for regular size knife and 2 of the rows for extra large knife. A regular knife will have a 1/2 inch by a 1 inch square to go into. The large knives will have a 1 1/2 inch long by 1/2 inch knife to go into. Remember in the day before flat screen wall mounted televisions, when they used to make these big freestanding cabinets that looked like armoires. They had pocket doors like armoires, but you looked inside and it wasn't really an armoire at all. It had a flat pad that rolled out and then a coaxial cable coming in the side, and it was basically for your television. That was back in the day. But now that nobody uses those big honky televisions anymore, you know what my armoire gets used for? That's right, the inner sanctum of knifedom. Hi guys, well, I wanted to spend a little time sharing with you how I set up my particular Pelican case. I now use a Pelican 1550, and so I'll show you. On the left side here, I have things ordered alphabetically from Benchmade at the first row to Zero Tolerance on the second row. And because there aren't enough slots for all the letters of the alphabet, I start at the bottom of the alphabet too with Boker here, and I end at Thorburn, and I'll just sort of show you how I have it. I have a label maker machine that prints these off, so you see Benchmade. I have the, let's see, here's the Mini Griptilian, and then we go to Chris Reeve. Here's a Sabenza and the Incosi and the little one there. And then we go to Hinder. We have some XM8Ts and the Hinder half track. And then you go to the Kaiser knives. Here's the Skyline, for example. And then I have the middle row. In the middle row, I have the big 1 1/2 by 1/2 inch row, and that's for the ones that are A to N in numbering. For example, here's the Millet Max Evolution and the Curtis M3. What else do we have here? Here's a Custom Knife Factory big chunky knife. Here's the Nadal Mini Typhoon. So A through N are in this row, and then we continue on with Spyderco. Here you see the Dragonfly and the Strider knives. Here's the Strider PT. And then the Zero Tolerance is the very end because it ends with Z, and here's the 0900, for example. On the back row, I have the 1 1/2 by 1/2 inch, and it's the O through Z, Oz, you know, like the Wizard of Oz. And they're the Van Dyke, for example, the Sanders Contra, what else do I have here? The Viper Odno, the Olamic Acid Rain 24/7. So those are the big chunky knives I keep on the back row, and that way I keep them in order. And then on this side, we start again with the alphabet and the Boker. Here is the the Urban Trapper mini Urban Trapper, and I have Browse and Burger knives, some Gavco knives. Here's a mini spinner, and then the Kaiser knives and the Medford knives. Here's the big chunky 186. It's in the middle row there with the other chunky knives because Medford knives are all chunky, right? And then at the end we have Thorburn knives. Oh my gosh, I love Thorburn knives. They're just, what's there not to like about them? I got such a man crush on Andre Thorburn. And then at the end we have the higher, like this is a Zeba, but because I only own one Zeba knife, I didn't give him a label. I didn't put labels on knives I have multiples of. So that's how I organize my knives. I have them alphabetical, low alphabet, the B's to the Z's, and the B's to the T's on the side, and then 2 rows. The middle row has the A through N large knives, and then on the back row I have the O through Z large knives, and that's how I do my knife organization. Hope it helps you. One of the problems with the Pelican 1550 I wanted to show you, look, sometimes you get these skinny knives that can't have any friction on the sidewalls of the 1/2-inch slot. This is the Boker Urban Trapper, and it's a little skinny knife, and look what happens to it. You put it in there, it disappears into the bottom, and then you got to get in there with your fingers because the depth of the hole is 4 3/4 inches, which is longer than the handle of this knife. And so what we do is whenever you pull these out, these are the insides of these little things. Whenever you pull them out, be sure and save some because you can break them off like this, and then I'll get some scissors here and I'll cut it maybe about in half. There's no exact science to this. And then I'm gonna stuff it down in there, and I'm gonna stuff it behind the knife. There we go. And my Boker Urban Trapper no longer falls to the end. You just put it in there and it's at the right height. So be sure and save these little foam things, or several of them, because you're going to have the thick knives, which will have enough width and girth and friction to stay without falling to the bottom of the hole. But there's some delicate knives like the Boker Urban Trapper and the Urban Trapper Petite that you have to stuff some of this down in there so that it doesn't fall to the very bottom of your Pelican case. So that's a tip I wanted to share with you. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it and you've come away with some new ideas for your knife storage. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And in the comments section, please let us know some of the knife storage tricks and strategies that have worked well for you. And we'll see you on the next House of Wisdom video.